Hi everyone, Jessie here. I was posting about FODMAPs this week and I was getting a lot of questions, especially about the mechanism of FODMAPs. So let me wait for people to join. Let me put a comment and we'll talk. Hi. We'll talk about FODMAPs today, FODMAPs and what they do in our system. Let me type this in and what they do in our system. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. Will you tell me where you are joining from? Let me see. Okay, can I pin this? Pin comment. Okay, I got that down. Hello everybody, welcome. I'm going to talk about FODMAPs today because a lot of you follow me because of the low FODMAP diet and you want to learn more about how it works and especially what they do in our guts, because that is a big mystery, right? Why does FODMAP affect guts? So let's get started. Well, actually, before I get started, a quick announcement. Today's the last day to enroll to our January group program with the discount. So discount is $850 off. So if you are keen on getting better and really understand how to manage your IBS, apply to secure your discount. So today is the last day. Link in bio to learn more. But now let's dive into FODMAPs. So let's talk about what are FODMAPs. So FODMAPs are carbohydrates that we don't digest. So this includes fiber, it includes sugar, short chain sugar, and it includes some other fibers that we just don't digest. And when it gets to our colon, when it gets to our large intestine, they are rapidly fermented by the microbes in our intestines. Now, most of the events happens in the large intestine because when it gets to the large intestine, they are rapidly fermented by our gut microbes. And that can produce a lot of gas during the fermentation process, and that can cause a lot of bloating and a lot of farting as well. Now, some of the FODMAPs, mainly lactose, polyols, and fructose, they actually also draw water into our small intestine, and that can cause distension and a lot of gushing and gurgling as well. So there are two sets of actions that FODMAPs can do. So one is in the small intestine that can cause gushing and gurgling, and then the other set is the rapid fermentation. All of the FODMAPs are rapidly fermented in the colon, and that can cause gas and bloating as well. So that's why FODMAPs affect people with irritable bowel syndrome, especially people who are severely constipated. If you have any question, hi everybody, thank you so much for joining. If you have any question, you can drop it in the question box at the end and I'm going to answer them at the end. So drop it in the question box. So that is the mechanism of FODMAPs. And FODMAPs are not bad for us. For people with irritable bowel syndrome, when you go low FODMAP, you will have some symptom relief, especially in terms of bloating. So research suggests that about 70 to 80% of patients with IBS do benefit from low FODMAP diets. Now, even though low FODMAP diet is called a diet, it is not a long-term diet. In fact, what it is a short-term elimination diet. And what we usually do is you eliminate or you go low FODMAP for 2 to 6 weeks and bring your symptom down to baseline. It really reduces the bloating significantly and it reduces a lot of other symptoms as well. We use this time, at least what I do is we use this time to really investigate on what is going on in your gut and find the root cause, resolve the root cause, and then reintroduce FODMAPs one group at a time. This is very crucial because FODMAPs are ultimately good for our gut. They feed our gut microbes. And so far, all of the research out there suggests that eating a wide variety of diets is crucial and actually key to having a diverse gut microbiome. And a diverse gut microbiome is what helps us stay healthy. When our gut microbes are healthy and they're happy, your gut is happy and your gut is healthy. Now, for people with IBS, though, we don't just, sometimes, people may not tolerate all of the FODMAPs and we don't want to just be like, okay, let's eat everything and then you have a lot of symptoms. You do have to resolve the root cause before you reintroduce FODMAPs. And I'm going to give you some examples in a little bit about certain type of root cause and how to resolve them. But with FODMAPs, they do feed our gut microbes and variety is key, right? I was saying eating a variety of plant-based food is key to feeding your gut microbes. So you don't want to restrict FODMAPs for prolonged periods. With the FODMAP protocol, even though it does bring your bloating down to baseline a little bit, it does not resolve the root cause. So you have to use that time to resolve the root cause. And I'm going to give you an example. One of my previous clients, her name is Jashin, and she joined the program because she had severe constipation. She didn't know that. She was really, really bloated, and she was recommended by her gastroenterologist to do the low FODMAP diet. And she got cookbooks, she bought recipes online, and started eating low FODMAP for a whole year. And some of you may know, who are familiar with the low FODMAP diet, you may know that the low FODMAP diet is not fun. There's a lot of restriction. And when she was doing low FODMAP by herself, she was actually really just focusing on restriction. Like, I'm cutting out this, I'm cutting out that, because they are high FODMAP. I can only eat these things. The problem when she was doing it by herself is she didn't get enough low FODMAP fiber to support proper gut motility. Now, she was extremely bloated because she was very constipated already. And when she went low FODMAP by herself without guidance from a dietitian, she actually cut out even more fiber, and that made her constipation worse. But because she was not eating fermentable foods like FODMAPs, her bloating was not as bad as before. But when you are removing so much fiber and variety in your diet, your symptoms will likely not go away. So she was a little bit better, and she knows how sensitive she are to the FODMAPs. When we started working together, like, the first thing we did was really identify what was going on, and identify that she was chronically constipated. She was really constipated, more than what she thought she was. And the first thing we had to do is to clean her out and then work on other modalities to improve her gut motility. With resolving constipation, there are three key things. One is hydration, fiber, and the last one is exercise. So hydration, fiber, and exercise. These are going to be key to improving motility. I almost said modality. But anyways, if you have any questions, drop them in the question box. And we also worked on finding the right lifestyle that is suitable for her. She was actually she works in events, so she is always on the go, always busy. That lifestyle didn't really help her go to the bathroom, and what we did was creating a routine that worked for her. Finding out what worked for her body to help her have a full, proper evacuation every day was a huge part of us working together. Once we figured out how to stay regular, how to have a full evacuation every day, her bloating was practically gone. And that's when we started reintroducing FODMAPs. We introduced all of the groups of FODMAPs one at a time to see what her tolerance level is at to each group. So there were one group of FODMAPs that she didn't tolerate very well at the time. So we do a 3-day reintroduction. You start with a very small amount, a FODMAP specific amount, a very small amount, and then you increase it to a moderate amount on day 2, and on day 3 you eat a whole serving of that food in terms of FODMAP concentration. There was one group she only tolerated day 1 or day 2's serving. She didn't tolerate day 3's serving. But that is completely okay, because what we now know is that she can eat every other group of FODMAPs out there without worrying about symptoms. And when she eats that particular group of FODMAPs, I think it was actually beans, it was GOS. She knows how much she can tolerate because she can tolerate the smaller amounts, and she just keep eating the smaller amounts until she can tolerate the bigger amount. The problem with, so for her, because she has eliminated FODMAPs for over a year by herself, she was becoming more sensitive to certain groups of FODMAPs, and beans being one of them. So she wanted to take it, she had to take it slowly, and then continue eating the smaller amounts to rebuild the gut microbiome that can help her break it down. So in the future, she can eat a bigger amount. So again, key message here, FODMAP diet. FODMAP is not a diet, it's a short-term protocol. It's just to understand your current tolerance level and determine how much you can eat right now without causing symptoms, and you can keep eating the smaller amounts to rebuild your tolerance level. So that is one of the examples I want to share with you. And I have another client, her name is actually Lilianna, a young mother with 2 children, and when she joined my program, she was already doing low FODMAP with a different dietitian. Now, the other dietitian was actually telling her to take a lot of enzyme, a lot of supplements that was gut healthy to help her gut. And of course, it wasn't really working, and they were really just focused on the FODMAP protocol and also supplements, it didn't get her very far. Her symptoms were a little bit better, but it wasn't resolving whatever else was going on. So it turned, so let me share with you what happened to Lilianna. So Lilianna had diarrhea. She was always looking for a bathroom. Everywhere she goes, she has to locate a bathroom. And the reason being was she was severely constipated. She had slower gut motility, she was severely constipated, and she had overflow diarrhea. So for people with overflow diarrhea, you might be running to the bathroom multiple times a day, many times, and only small amounts and liquidy stool may be coming out, and you never feel empty. It's because there is blockage in the rectum stopping the stool, the bulk of the stool from coming out, and only the soft and the liquidy ones can come out. So that was actually what was happening to her. So when she was eating low FODMAP with the other dietitian, her symptoms were a little bit better, but it's not going to go away until she resolves her constipation. So when she joins our small group program, the first thing we did was investigate why she was having diarrhea. Well, actually for her, because she was taking so many supplements, I said, please stop all of the supplements so we can see what really is going on in your gut. But keep in mind, the supplements on the market, they are not studied. Most of them are not studied, not evidence-based. The labeling on gut health is not regulated. But for her case, she was taking those supplements because another dietitian that she works with was telling her to take these enzymes and natural supplements to help with digestion, which did not help her case at all because her problem was not digestion, her problem was constipation leading to overflow diarrhea. And she had a lot of urgency throughout the day. Okay, so what we did, the first thing is let's improve her gut motility. Let's resolve the constipation first and really help her have a full evacuation every day so that she doesn't have the urgency anymore. Now, because she was taking a lot of the other supplements before that actually made her gut really sensitive, we took our time with reintroducing FODMAPs. We really did it one group at a time slowly, but as her gut healed, she was able to tolerate all of the FODMAP groups with no problem. When she was working in the group program too, she actually took a trip to Mexico, and she was able to eat street foods in Mexico without problem, and she knew exactly how to manage her symptom. The key for her was making sure she was going to the bathroom every day so that she does not become backed up and she does not have overflow diarrhea again. So everyone is a little bit different, but the key is to understand the root cause and reintroduce FODMAPs one group at a time. Okay, so that was my second story from a client. And then the last one is actually another client who have overflow diarrhea, and she is a dietitian herself. When she joins my program, she was already cut out half of the foods that she was eating. She was surviving on a very small amount of food or a small group of foods because she did not know what caused her diarrhea. She didn't know what was going on with her body. Her doctor told her to try low FODMAP, so she started cutting out food. And of course, like for her, cutting out food didn't really help her because it was not resolving her constipation. Again, this is someone with overflow diarrhea. She was really afraid of even going on car rides that's longer than 5 to 10 minutes because she's had near accidents in the past, which made her really traumatized. Now, because she's a dietitian herself and she knows that she needs help with the low FODMAP diets, that's when she joined our program and started working with me. But the first thing I told her was, I don't think you need to do low FODMAP, especially she was already very afraid of food. And when I didn't see the necessity of removing foods that she thinks she's sensitive to, I told her, let's not do low FODMAP. Let's just see how things go as we work on resolving your constipation. And right away after we resolved her constipation, her diarrhea stopped. So, and the next step was actually incorporating more food back into her diet slowly. So we didn't go through the low FODMAP protocol, but we did slowly reintroduce food because she had a lot of fear when it comes to eating food. And at the end of the program, she never did low FODMAP diet. She didn't do any of the reintroduction. She just started eating everything again. But the key that she learned was to make sure she was going to the bathroom every day and make sure she was having full evacuation. And if she sees a little bit of constipation coming back, or if she sees she's not having full evacuations, she knows how to resolve the constipation quickly so that it does not snowball into a bigger problem for the future. And that's gonna be key for anyone learning to manage their IBS, because IBS is a long-term condition. It's not short-term, and of course a low FODMAP diet is short-term, because long-term elimination, long-term restriction is not good for your gut. So the goal with the low FODMAP diet or low FODMAP protocol is to understand your tolerance level and reintroduce the FODMAP foods as soon as possible. Yes, some people are going to be a little bit more sensitive and you want to take the slower approach. Some people who have IBS, you may not even have to do low FODMAP diets at all. The key is understand your body. Let me scroll through and see if there is any questions. Oh, and I see people writing from Canada, from Maryland, from Idaho. Welcome everybody. And if you guys have any question, feel free to drop it to me. That helps keep balance. Somebody asked, can you recommend a low FODMAP food that helps keep a balance within our system? What do you mean balance? I'm assuming balanced gut microbiome. Variety is key. So let me explain why variety is key, because variety, when we eat an apple, for example, there are a lot of different types of fiber in the apple, and when we eat these fiber into our guts, it feeds many different groups of microbes and it helps them stay balanced that way. So the more variety you eat, the more different types of fiber you have, the more microbes you're going to feed, and that helps them keep them in a balance. If you're cutting out, say, FODMAP groups, right, you're cutting out a significant amount of fermentable fiber or fermentable fuel for these microbes, and that is what is going to create an imbalance, which is why we say, don't restrict FODMAP foods for prolonged periods. You really need to reintroduce them, resolve the root cause, and then reintroduce them. And a lot of the problem when people try to do low FODMAP by themselves is they don't know what the goal of the low FODMAP diet is. The goal is to bring your symptom down so that it buys us time to investigate what's going on so we can address the root cause, and then we reintroduce FODMAPs. So it's not just eliminate, reintroduce. It's eliminate, investigate, and reintroduce, for those of you who are very afraid of FODMAPs. So I hope that answers the question. And FODMAPs are so good for us. They can't help feed our gut microbes. I see some other questions here. Could you go into techniques for relieving constipation on a regular basis for daily stool deposits? This is a really good question. It's going to vary person to person. The most important thing is fiber, fluids, and exercise. Now, we also want to look at your sleep level, your stress, your gut microbiome, your what else? Your hormone. Where are you in your menstruation cycle, especially for those who are women? We know that PMS, usually people have more constipation, and then when you have your period, you may get period poop, which is diarrhea for some people. So it depends on a lot of things, but focus on hydration, fiber, and exercise first. Now, some people do have a food intolerance, which can give them severe constipation or severe diarrhea. So those are the cases where the low FODMAP protocol can really help identify. And if there is a food trigger, you do want to identify and remove it from your diet so that it does not continue triggering your symptoms in your system. Somebody said, do you address in your program how to balance a low FODMAP diet with a gluten-free regimen? Yes, absolutely, because I do work with people with celiac as well, and we talk about how to make sure you are doing gluten-free and low FODMAP at the same time. So some people do have to do that. And one more question is, what fiber would you recommend? I do not recommend supplementing, because supplementation, if that is the question, it only gives you one type of fiber or maybe 2-3 types of fiber. But if you're eating it from fruits and vegetables, from actual food, like even on an apple, it has 4 to 5 or even 6 different types of fiber in there to feed your different gut microbes. So the goal is really to expand your diet and not to try to supplement it. And there is a phrase that I absolutely love: you cannot out-supplement a poor diet. So focus on expanding your diet and don't just think about supplements. Save yourself some money. Supplements are expensive. All right, I want to say, for everybody's time's sake, I want to say thank you all for joining me today, and I hope this session is helpful. You really learned more about the low FODMAP diet. Remember, it's not a long-term restriction diet. Restrict, investigate the root cause, and then reintroduce group by group so you can expand your diet safely and you can eat more variety and feed your gut microbes. One last thing, we are enrolling. We're doing enrollment for our January small group program. Early enrollment discount ends today, so if you're interested, go to link in bio to learn more. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Have a good evening and happy holidays.